Yeah, I mean, a lot of people talk about added pressure and pressure put on someone if you're in that kind of position. I think it's quite a good position to be in. It's quite flattering as well to have the whole world looking up to you as kind of an example and the place to be or the one to be. And if you think about it too much, you can let that pressure really get to your head. I kind of get away from that and sort of focusing on me and what I'm doing and pushing myself and driving my performances forward. So I always revert back to a whole host of data I've got on my performances and training and in competition to see where I am. So I'm almost competing, say, against myself to better myself. And, you know, that's what I'm really looking to do. And the games are coming up and they're coming up fast. And I'm just hoping to be in the best possible place physically and mentally to really lay down the best race that I can possibly achieve. And that's what it's really about, just getting the best performance that you can personally achieve. You are obviously in a race and you're racing against others and they're all kind of doing the same thing. But you just got to keep your mind focused on what you want to achieve.
Certainly when I went to London 2012, I was just a mess. Like the whole environment was like so scary. It was far beyond anything I could have ever imagined, prepared for. Obviously, with it being a home Olympic Games, it was just bigger than anything else I'd ever been to. So for me, that was like quite an intimidating environment. It was pretty scary. Like I remember being on the start line and when they called out my name, just thinking like, oh my God, I was just so far too overwhelmed by the situation. Yeah. I thought I was going to cry. I just felt really... There was just so much pressure, nerves, everything all came down to this one race, this one competition. And I certainly didn't perform to I'd come back from a really bad injury anyway, so I wasn't in the best of shape, but I'd worked hard enough to get myself there on the start line and I didn't quite perform to the level I probably should have done. And I got knocked out in the heats. I'd say that was due to probably nervous energy. I just had so much nervous energy wasted on that competition. After it was over, it was like a relief. It was like this weight off your shoulders that the competition was done. I think that certainly helped then going into Rio, because I went into Rio just far more confident, I think, in my capabilities. I wanted to make the final. There was just no doubt in my mind that I wouldn't make the final. I wanted to try and run a PB, as close to a PB as I possibly could. And I think because I'd been so nervous in London, I had sort of learned how to control that. I thought nothing is ever going to be as big as that now. Like I'd been to the Olympic Games. Not only had I been to the Olympics, I'd been to a home Olympic Games. Like it's just, you're never going to have that intensity ever again. And in Rio, it was very quiet. Like there was nobody in the stands. Like it was a completely different Olympics to what I'd been to before. And I think that helped. I was just very calm, very controlled. I went there to almost do a job. And I did. I can't remember what I came in the final. I was maybe 10th in the final. I ran pretty close to a PB at the time. And it was hot and it was humid. I mean, all of that into it, I was pretty happy with that performance. And I feel like, again, that's just given me another stepping stone to move up to the 10K with that same confidence, knowing that I'm going into the event doing everything I possibly could. I've controlled everything I can. I'm fit. I'm healthy. Everything is... that I could control, I've controlled. I mean, there's nothing more I can do. So for me, heading into Tokyo, the aim really is just to run a personal best, because I can't do anything more than that. I can't control what other people do. I mean, we just today there was another sort of doping scandal that is just hit America. So there's. For me, the aim for Tokyo is prepare as best as you possibly can and aim to run a PB. Focus on yourself, and that's really the main goal.
If I ever had a good race, if I look back, it was always when something happened, like one race in Chicago, my knee blew out and I had to go to the hospital 2 days before and had an x-ray, and I thought I wasn't racing and the knee went down, I won the race. I went to Kitzbühel, I had a dodgy stomach, but it wasn't too bad. I thought I was out of the race, I did well, I won the race. So I realised that looking after other people is actually better for me. It took the pressure off me. Yeah, it's better. So my experience was completely different to Michelle's experience. Going as an individual, it's all on you. But because I was going to look after them, I was like, oh, well, I'm here for them. You know, I really want them to do well, but I can only do what I can do. At the end of the day, they still have to race themselves as well. So my experience was quite nice, to be honest. I quite enjoyed it. I mean, there were times I was pulling them apart from each other because they were fighting and arguing. But a lot of the time it was enjoyable because I was like their big brother in a way, looking after them, like their security guard. That's how I felt. So I didn't really get that nervous. I got a little bit nervous. So I was thinking, hang on a second, if I have no legs on the bike, I'm in big trouble here. Alice is going to shout at me because he gets aggressive. But luckily it was all fine, and I had a great time and a great experience. So my experience was really enjoyable, and I got to enjoy it beforehand, which most people, they just want the race to be over.
But then 2004, I was kind of like more one of the favourites going in, so there's a lot more pressure. I was the first GB to qualify. That was a relief to get that qualification out of the way. But then, you just have to, it is a special day. I mean, you have to treat it like it's another race, because if you don't, you get so nervous. And what I used to tell myself was, it's just another triathlon, but it's like got loads of media surrounded by it. And try to stay as calm as possible, because you can just get super nervous and just blow it all just from the nerves. Like, we always talk about this all the time to our athletes. Like, if you get too nervous, you go too far with the nerves, you will never get the result that you potentially could have got if you just try and stay relaxed, which is very difficult at Olympic Games, I must admit. Yeah,
because some people are stressing out like 2 weeks before the race, and they're not sleeping, they can't eat properly, they can't train properly. Yeah, they're always going to the toilet. and the best guys can do literally turn it on with like an hour to go. Like if you watch someone like Alice and Johnny, Alice he can not be nervous and bang, he can switch on with an hour to go, and that's where he gets his best results out. Because some people are natural racers and some people aren't. And usually the ones that can race, the ones that can switch it on the last second, the ones that can't race that well, are literally petrified all week.